Okay, folks, here we are at day 4 of our week-long session. So let's jump right into our warm-ups we've been doing. We'll do them a little more briefly again so we can get to some more stretching. I think by now we all know the drill, basically. Start with the ankles. Circling one direction, then the other. A little bit of flexing and pointing. Knees. Let's see, it's taken me one breath to go around twice. One inhale to go around twice, one exhale to go around twice. Do both directions. It's good to be aware of the ankles, even as we're doing the knees. And then we'll do the hips, and same thing. It's good to be aware of everything below, because they're all getting a little bit of work with doing the hips. And both directions with the hips. We haven't done figure eights with the hips for a day or two, I think. So why don't we do some figure eights in one direction? And you can probably feel that might get a few spots that we're not getting otherwise. Feel free to pause and work out anything that calls your attention. Also, please remember to do more than I'm doing or less, depending on what your body's calling for. Staying plugged into the breath is very helpful. Did you all swap sides? I've swapped sides. Swap directions, I mean. So if we stay close to the breath, we probably won't push the body further than it wants to go. And we'll do our swiveling thing. And again, let's see if we can tune into the hara, especially with movements like this. It's our center of gravity. So we can use this also as a mindfulness exercise of that region of the body. And really see if you can let the arms float, swing free. And we can bring a little of the neck swiveling in too, into this. One shoulder and then the other. And then slowing down as we feel ready. Let's go ahead and shake out the legs a little bit. Loosen up, especially the hip joint. I'm going to do something a little bit different to loosen the shoulders today. So that movement goes like this. We start with our arms like that. We come across, arms go back out, they join and they go overhead. And then they alternate which one's on top and bottom. So I'm inhaling exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. You can do it slower, of course. And then just let the movement slow down. Shake them out a little bit. Let's just do some shoulder rolls backward. Inhaling up, exhaling back. Inhaling, lifting the chest into it. Exhaling, letting the shoulder blades go down the back and come together a little bit. However much is comfortable with that. Okay, let's just do some plain shoulder shrugs. Maybe a dozen or so. And then let's do the neck. You can do the nodding one. I imagine by now you're remembering about extending the neck and lifting the chest on the inhale, exhaling down, inhaling up. Okay, let's do the no, head shaking. Inhale, exhale. Inhale to center, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And then let's use whichever variation on the hands and back, like that, like this, like that way or that way. Or if you can come up with a different one, you can do it that way. And then head to one shoulder, inhale, head to the other shoulder. And you can feel free to hold it a little bit longer if you want. I'm feeling inclined to do that at this point in the sitting. My neck's getting a little tighter. So on the exhale, I'm just holding it for a little bit. Holding and extending. And I'm using the hands to keep the shoulder down a little bit, which accentuates the stretch. So the shoulder's not just climbing up. And then neck roll in one direction. If you want to roll it back, it's okay to do that. You can swap, put the other arm on top if you want. I recommend it, so you're doing it in a balanced way. If you're going to go back with the neck, remembering lifting the chest with the inhale. And you can exhale forward. But there's no need to go back to still make this a good warm-up for the neck. Other direction. Okay, let's do our upward reaches and remembering to pull the navel or lower belly back in towards the lower spine. Protects the lower back from getting sent out of whack with any of the movements. So first one, we just inhale up, turn the hands over, just pencil stretch up, navel back, put a little back bend into it if you want, or don't. Couple breaths. Releasing with the exhale. Hands come down. Okay, we'll do that again. Maybe you can feel that if you soften up on the hara, then the lower back has this tendency to take, well, for me, it feels like a little bit of strain. So great opportunity to practice the hara while protecting the lower back and still getting the stretch in. This time we'll go to each side. First and center again. A couple breaths. And then an exhale to one side. And you might experiment with how to direct your gaze and your head, whether to turn the head a little in either direction. Inhaling back to center. Take one breath at center. You might find the upward reach looser than the other side. Same thing, pulling in the lower belly, experimenting with the head position. Find out what works. Okay, back to center and down. And this last time, we'll combine it with that twist. So inhale, reaching up. Take a breath. On the exhale, the hands come halfway. We're going to look over first one shoulder. Hold it for a breath or two. Put the arms down anytime if it becomes too much for you. Pull that lower belly towards the spine. Back to center with an inhale. Hands come down. Looking over the other shoulder. Really see if you can reach with the fingertips. Breathing. Inhaling back to center. Arms come down. Well, let's go to that wide-legged forward bend. And I want to do a few variations with it today. So let's start out with the movement to one side and then the other. And if one of the positions feels good, you can hold it for a breath or two. Okay, let's try this one carefully. You might want to bring the feet a little closer. And this is a version called goddess pose. And both knees come down, get bent. We come down across the pelvis, only as much as your body wants to do. To do the full pose, you bring your hands up like this in cactus pose, which is great for the shoulders and mid-back. Only do what you can do. If it's just minor, if it's just a minor bend, that's fine. If you want to do up and down movements, that's fine. If you want to wing the arms in and out, that's also okay. Just whatever feels good for your body. Sometimes holding the stretch is just the thing. Sometimes movement's better. Okay. Let's do the forward bend. So I like to start this one with the arms out and reaching upward with the chest, somewhat with the neck, and I'll leave you to see what feels good about that for your body. But the arms across like this with the palms up really helps us pull the shoulder blades together. The inhale and lifting the chest is great for the upper back. And then we'll exhale forward, trying to keep some of that length. And as we've been doing, go down as far as you wish. Support your weight if you want, especially at the beginning. Legs can be straight or bent or a little bent. If your body feels okay to hang with the arms crossed, it's really nice on the shoulders and neck to just let them go. Sway a little bit, move a little. If you need to come up in between, that's fine. Otherwise, we'll walk over or swing over to one leg. If you have to come up in between, then just come back down. Holding and breathing. Now that feels great on my hips. I don't know about yours. Okay, timing with the breath, probably on an exhale. Walk across to the other one. Again, we can walk to center, take a breath here. We can walk ourselves back up. Let's do another variation or two before we go to the floor on this one. So if we go back to the wide-legged bend, wide-legged stretch, and we bend the knees a little like we did before. We turn one foot out and then extend our arms like this and straighten the back leg. And we've got one of the warrior poses, warrior two. I like to turn the palms up because it rotates the shoulder blades. It makes them pull together a little on the upper back. We look over the extended arm and breathe. Again, belly towards the lower spine is helpful. Bent knee tracking out is helpful. You can go a little deeper when you get comfortable if you wish. And then exhaling, straighten that leg. Drop the arms in between if you wish. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So once you have yourself situated, in my case toward the screen, then you can turn to look over the extended palm. Breathing. And exhaling out, dropping the arms. So we'll use a forward bend again to come down to the ground. And I know you can't see the whole of me on the screen, but we're going to place the feet between hip and shoulder width, or closer together if you like. And just as we've done with the upward reach, on an inhale, reaching up. Then on an exhale, extending the arms out. And swan diving, you can walk your hands down your legs to protect your back if you wish. Legs can be bent at the knees. You can place your palms on your thighs, shins, the floor, or cross arms and let head and neck dangle. One interesting variation can be to straighten one leg while the other knee's bent, and then alternate in the other direction. The other leg straightens while the first one bends. You can just do those as a movement, or you can hold the position. Of course, you can always come out anytime. So we'll inhale. On an exhale, we're going to step 1 foot back into a lunge. That back knee comes down. I'll let you experiment with whatever variation feels good. You can keep your hands or fists on the ground. You feel the stretch, of course, in your hips and across the back of your thighs. Really put the mind there, put the breath there. If you want to do variations, you can extend that front leg. Gently, gently breathing. Or come up on that front knee. Or even reach up. Okay, timing with the breath. On an exhale, we'll come back to tabletop position. I think we'll remember our cat and cow moves. Feels really good to center the breath in the hara on this one and move from there. Something about it makes it really, this position makes it really palpable, I feel. And I'll leave you to do the variations of looking over the shoulder if you want, holding for a breath or two. If you do one, do both sides. And also the little bump and grind with the rump movement. Feel really good on the lower back. Again, if you do it in both directions. Okay, before we do child's pose, I'd like to do one other movement, which is come down to the belly. And you can do any variation of this you like. This is called locust pose. So it's a slight lift of the head and back and of the legs. And you can airplane the arms, put them back, or leave them on the ground, just breathing. Pull shoulder blades together, lift the chest, extend the neck. Breathing. And we'll place the hands back on an exhale. Let's push back into child's pose. Toes together, knees apart. And this time, even though we're using it as a rest pose, you might notice that if you tent your fingers, I can't quite get it on the screen the right way, but like that, when they're in front, then you get a stretch between the shoulder blades, and you can experiment with that. But the main thing is to just relax and let gravity do the work. You can do the walking hands over to one side and the other, or just stay at center. Each exhale is a further release. As the body relaxes, you may want to extend the arms further by walking the fingers forward. A big in-breath. On next exhale, will come up. Let's do that twist we did yesterday. If you're using the straight-legged version, the leg goes out front. You can accentuate it by crossing one leg over the other. And same thing if you're doing the bent knee version. And the bent knee version will give you a better stretch across the hip. But do the version that feels good for you. Don't overdo it. And breathe. Slowly release. Left side. I like to start with the arm over like this, but then once I'm kind of situated, lift the arm up, put the elbow over it, and turn. You really feel that across the outside of the hip bone, hip joint. Breathing. And as you feel ready, come slowly out. Let's move in whatever way feels sensible to our lunge on the other side, the opposite side from the one we did. If you can remember, if I can remember. Breathing into it with any of the variations we've practiced. Breathing always. Okay, we'll do a quick relaxation. And you can do this sitting up if you like. It only takes about a minute. Or if you really want to do it on your back, you can do that. And the way this works is you picture yourself having a halo. And it's a halo that isn't an open ring, but it has a center. So it's really more like a cosmic frisbee. It's hovering right here. And we're going to take about 4 breaths to move it down through the body. And you can imagine that it has a golden or white glow. And as it passes through each part of the body, in turn, it sweeps away any tension it encounters. So we'll take an inhale. With an exhale, passes down over the crown of our head, forehead, temples, ears, nose, sinuses, jaw, down to somewhere on the neck and throat. We pause while we take an inhale. If you want to pass over one of the areas, you can lift it up a little. Next exhale, it expands so it becomes more like a cosmic hula hoop. And it'll move down over the shoulders, upper arms, chest, upper back, shoulder blades, ribs, breastbone, maybe till it reaches about the bottom of the ribs. Pause as we inhale. As we exhale, it moves down again, sweeping away any tension or holding, stuckness it encounters. Down the rest of the back, internal organs, digestive organs, down to the pelvis and hips. Just grounding down any excess or tension into the earth. Another inhale, pausing. Next exhale, we'll sweep all the way down from the pelvis, down the legs, past the knees, lower legs, ankles. And again, grounding out the feet and just disappearing into the earth, carrying away any excess tension. If you have a few minutes, you might make another pass or two like this through your body. You can also do it slower. It's a great setup for Zazen. I'll often do this just when I first sit down for Zazen to make sure I'm not holding too much excess tension. Thanks everyone. I'll see you next time.